It's Monday, so that means it's time for another Goku Talks podcast. On this episode, we have Dane Hayton. He is a guy that I saw running with a basketball during the 5K. He also did it during the Houston Half Marathon as well. We'll find out about all of his story. He does a lot of things other than running with a basketball. And in this podcast, we'll find out all about that. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. What is going on, guys? Welcome to another Goku Runner Talks podcast. Today on this episode, I have Dane. He is interesting. We'll find out all about him. And how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. It's a rainy day, and you were driving today, huh? Were you driving in it?
Actually, I drove to Austin to pick up a piece of workout equipment. So drove all the way there in the rain, drove all the way back. Yeah, picked it up and put it in the garage.
All right, cool. So I met you because you met one of my past podcast guests on here, Rob, and you were telling me a little bit about him. But I want to find out more about you because at the Houston Half Marathon, I was doing the 5K because I'm injured. I couldn't do the race, and I hear a basketball like going down the streets. I'm like, what's going on? And it happened to be you. But before we get into your basketball and how you started running 5Ks and half marathons in it, I want to hear a little bit about your running story. How did everything start? Was it running first, or clearly you like basketball? I saw the Lakers. I saw you're a Lakers fan, but we can still be friends.
Yeah.
At the back.
Yeah. So I think little back history. I grew up. I played football, basketball, ran track. I gravitated more towards basketball. I decided to join the Army out of high school. Went to the Army. I ran all the time in the military. You were forced to, whether you wanted to or not. I ended up playing basketball for the All-Army team in basketball. I was stationed overseas, so I got to play some basketball overseas. Came back, played college basketball, continued to play basketball. But at some point, you get a little older and the skills of the basketball start to diminish. And I kind of just picked up running. I was already semi-athletic and picked up running. And I said, I'm going to do a 5K and then a 10K. And then it was a half marathon. And then I've done a full marathon. I did the Woodlands full a couple of years ago. I think this was my 7th half. And then I've done a few sprint triathlons. And I actually last July, so July of 24, I took first place for my age group in the Cypress sprint triathlon. And then I was already signed up to do the half for this year. And with that, I have a young man that I've been mentoring in basketball for probably the last 6 years. And he's originally from Colombia. And he went back home to square away some paperwork, some of the passport, visa, immigration, I-20, all those types of paperworks that he needed to do. He went back home to square everything away. And when he got home, he was denied to come back. Okay. While he was at the embassy. So it was kind of a shock to his world and to my world as well. And so I said, when that happened, I didn't, and said that I was going to do the half marathon kind of in his honor. So I was going to do it dribbling a basketball. So I actually had a shirt made, and you saw me in the 5K, so you didn't see me in the half, but I had a shirt made that said, I'm dribbling for Geronimo.
Wow.
So my kind of, my niche was I was going to dribble in the United States because he wouldn't be able to dribble here in the United States.
Okay. Wow. So this was your first race to dribble in, or you've been dribbling it?
Yeah. So the 5K was the first one where you saw me, and then the half was really the first half that I'd ever done dribbling the basketball. Yeah.
Oh wow. So so when you trained, were you training with the basketball, going around in parks and everywhere else?
So my initial thing was what I was doing was I was doing every 2 increment miles. So I would start at 2, then 4, then 6, then 8. I would do a mile with or the 2 miles or 4 miles with a weighted vest. And then I would do 2 miles without the vest. And then I would do 2 miles with the basketball. And then I did the same thing with 4 and 6 and 8. And then I got up to 12. So 12 with a weighted vest, 12 without, and then 12 with a basketball.
So how many marathons or how many half marathons did you run before?
So this was my 7th one. I've done 6
Okay.
before without a ball.
Okay. So yeah, you're a pretty fit guy. I saw you because you asked me for the footage, and I saw your profile on Instagram, and you were a hairy dude with a beard, and I was like, I don't know if it's the same guy or not.
You did ask me. That's funny. You did ask me. You said, "Is this you?" Because you wanted to make sure. That's funny. Yeah. So the backstory with that is, I do Santa Claus at Christmas. So
Ah.
I do. My family and I and a bunch of others, we all get together at Christmas time and we pass out a bunch of stuff to the homeless here in Houston. So I start growing the beard July 1.
Mhm.
I have it all the way through Christmas and then I cut it off.
Nice.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. So from basically December 25th through June 30th, bald head, clean shaven, the whole 9 yards. Um, July 1 through December 25th, full beard and a Santa Claus hat on all the time.
So get back with the basketball. While you were training, how many times did you lose the basketball, or what was the toughest part of dribbling the basketball and running at the same time?
Yeah, I don't. The toughest part was actually the race, the things that I couldn't account for.
Hmm.
So, when I'm running by myself in my neighborhood, it's just me running by myself. So
Right.
there's nobody other feet. There's nobody else kind of crossing and swerving back and forth in front of you. So I couldn't account for those things. Um, running. I live in Katy, Cypress area. There's not a lot of potholes. So in the Houston Marathon, there's a lot of potholes to the point where they even have cones sitting on some of the holes, so to dodge them.
Yeah.
So there was those things, and then like I said, the things that I can't account for, like at every cup station or Gatorade and water station where there's 300 cups on the ground,
Yeah. That's
and
right.
trying to dodge the 300 cups. I couldn't simulate that in my neighborhood. Um, so it's just those things that I couldn't account for. The basketball I had down, the running I had down. It was the stuff I couldn't account for. The big spit piles on the ground that I didn't want to dribble the ball in and keep dribbling. I don't have
Yeah,
those
all the
emotions.
goo packets or whatever.
Yeah, just all those things that I didn't even think about, right?
Yeah.
Um, that I can't account for. I would have to litter my entire neighborhood to simulate
Yeah.
doing the half marathon.
So did you ever lose the ball? That's what I want to know. Did you
No,
ever? No.
no,
Wow. Okay.
no, no,
So did you carry the ball at all, or was you were strictly
no.
dribbling?
Actually, one guy came up to me. He said, I've been running behind you, and I'm so impressed that you haven't carried the ball once." He was like, "We need to nominate you for the NBA," and I was like, "Well, I missed that calling already." Um,
so, so you're a big basketball fan, I'm assuming, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
Lakers is your team, so
No, actually, I don't have a team.
no team. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was a Lakers fan growing up, but that's because I was a Magic Johnson fan. But
Uh-huh,
now with
uh-huh.
the way players change teams,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't have a team.
Yeah, I'm a huge Rockets fan. I was a Rockets fan back in 92, 94. Those days when they were winning the championships, and I'm a hardcore Rockets fan. So that's
Okay,
why I'm not a
you're in,
big I'm not
you're
a
in the
big Lakers fan
championships,
because
yeah.
the Lakers have taken our chances away a lot of times. But other
I
than that,
understand.
the
Yeah,
Houston
so
half
the
marathon.
poster that was hanging up was just a Kobe. It was just a Kobe picture.
Okay. Just a cover picture. So, how many times did you get stopped during the half marathon, or someone came up and talked to you? Like, I'm sure you were like, you're very like nobody sees that normally. So I'm sure you got stopped or got
Yeah,
talked to a
there
few
was a
times.
lot of people. The hard thing was I couldn't really talk to people, and I didn't want to
Hmm.
be rude, but I really needed to look where I was going because if not, then I am going to dribble in one of those holes or rocks or off somebody's shoe or whatever. So I really kind of had to stay locked in with the road in front of me and where I was going. Um, there were a few people that talked to me, even like in the 5K. I think the video you have of me in the
Yeah,
5K, there's a guy talking to me. And
yeah,
in the 5K, I really didn't. One, there's not as many people. There's definitely not as many water stations. So I wouldn't say I didn't care, but if I lost it, I kind of didn't care. For the half, I was really locked in and I really stayed focused. Um, making sure the other thing that really sucked, I don't know why, because I got up to 12 miles with the ball. I don't know if it was the cold or just what happened, but my original plan was to dribble 1 mile with my right, then 1 mile with my left, 1 mile with my
Mm-hmm.
right, 1 mile with my left. Because really with running, I'm really just running all legs. There's
Yeah.
you don't have this
Yeah.
momentum to help carry you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually going against it by pushing up and down,
Yeah, that makes
right?
sense. Yeah.
And so, but at about mile, I think it was when I switched between mile 9 and mile 10, my left wrist just didn't work anymore.
Wow.
Like I couldn't do this motion anymore. It
Yeah.
just didn't work. It was painful to do
Yeah.
it.
Sore.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was from just the cold that day, because of course we had a super cold day.
Mm-hmm.
That I
And
didn't.
wind. The wind was there
The
too.
wind, yeah. There was a point where the wind was blowing the ball, and I was trying to keep up with the ball. Um, I had a couple people that ran in front of me and then slowed down, and I'm like, "Thank you so much." Um, so I would say I didn't account for that either. Just the dribbling with the left, because eventually I had to just basically just finish the race with my right, and I would switch to my left a couple times for 1 or 2 dribbles, but that's
Yeah.
all I could take, and then I had to go back to my right.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
lot of dribbling, and that's pretty good. You could dribble with both hands too, because I would assume I would just do it with the right, but because I wouldn't be as good dribbling with my left for sure. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it took some practice to just really be able to dribble that many. I mean, I think I counted it up, and what I kind of did was how many dribbles do I take in 1 mile,
hmm
and I think the total amount of dribbles, if you average it out, would be about 12,500 dribbles is what I
yeah,
dribbled.
wow. I wonder if that messed up your watch's like cadence. Whenever you walked, because sometimes it's like it measures the swing.
Yeah,
So if you're
I
dribbling,
would say, because what I did was, and obviously on the half marathon you have all the mile markers, right? So
yeah,
that helps some. Um, I put my phone in my right, like, kind of leg pocket, and I was using Nike Run, and then I have a Garmin watch, and I started my Garmin watch,
yeah.
and so I was just kind of looking when I could hear when Nike would go off, when Garmin would go off, and then I would make sure I'm looking at where the mile marker is. So they were all pretty well in sync.
Okay. So you finished the 5K, you did the half marathon, and how did
Don't
it
you
feel
ask it?
afterwards? Did you tell your friend about what you did? You messaged him and are you sending him
Yeah,
the medal?
Geronimo knows. I told him I was going to do it for him. I told him I had a shirt made for him.
Hmm.
Um, I haven't posted any of the content yet on Instagram or anything like that, but I will. So yeah, I told him I kind of did it in his honor. He's not able to be here in the United States and dribble, but I dribbled
Yeah,
12,000 dribbles for him.
that's nice. Yeah, it's hard to get to the States actually, because we try to get our aunt in the Philippines to come down just to visit, and it was we spent so much time, years, that we could not get her past that. They thought that she would overstay her stay, and then all that. So
Yeah,
it's tough to even it's a privilege for us to travel to other countries, and you don't know how hard it is for us to travel if you're not an American.
absolutely. Yeah, so I kind of did it in his honor. I mean, my whole family knows him. I've helped raise him, so I kind of did it in his honor. So it really wasn't for me to take
Hmm.
12,000 dribbles. It was for him, where he wished he could be here in the United States playing basketball and dribbling, and he can't. So
Yeah.
I definitely, once I set out to do it, I definitely was going to do it. Definitely wasn't going to quit. Definitely wasn't going to walk. Definitely wasn't going to not do it. So, or finish. So
So, have you done a marathon yet, or are you moving up to that? I know you said this is
no,
your
I did a
your
full
seventh half
marathon. I did
marathon.
the Woodlands full. Yeah, I did the Woodlands full in 2022, I believe. Maybe
Okay,
2023. I did the Woodlands
okay,
full in 23.
yeah. And was that was your first one?
That was my first full.
And so are you gonna step up and do the full marathon next year with the ball, or is
Uh,
your basketball and dribbling days are over after you did
it
this
was
this one?
it was pretty rough. It definitely took a more of a beating on my legs, because they just had to do so much more work than
Yeah,
what they would where you have some momentum with your upper body. Um,
yeah.
I don't know. I got asked that what I do next year with the ball as well, and I don't know. Um, I'm definitely going to sign up for the half next year,
Hmm.
um, and then I don't know if I'll do it with the ball or not. We'll see.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
to
Because
to be determined.
Because whenever you're running, I remember I was running one time and I was using a lot of my arms like this, and the next day I was like, man, my arms are so sore. Like I didn't realize how much you do use your arms. So with you dribbling and not using your arms, and like you said, you were going against with your natural motion is actually
Yeah.
more difficult. So what did your overall pace for the marathon for the half marathon end up being, and what was your
Yeah.
time?
It was I finished right at 2 hours and 30 minutes, so it was about 11:30 mile.
Okay.
And my goal was a 2 hour 36, half marathon,
Hmm.
which was about a 12-minute pace, right?
Wow. Yeah, yeah.
So I was good. I finished. Um, I had to stop one time and fix my shorts. I had to stop one time and go to the bathroom. But other than those, I mean, every step, any motion going forward was with the basketball. So
So,
so
so
yeah,
even drinking some water, you dribbling with
I
one
did.
hand and
And and I've talked to Rob about this, and I'm sure you would debate me. I don't drink or eat anything
oh
along any
wow,
of my runs.
okay,
And
huh.
everybody's like, hey, you need to refuel. You should drink. Even all the previous halves, I didn't take anything. I just run. So
Wow. So
maybe,
what's your theory behind that?
I don't know. Once I go, I just want to get it over with. So I don't stop. I don't do anything. I just run and then I finish.
Yeah, I feel like for the Houston Marathon, well, that was a long time without water or anything. So I don't know how you do it, but for sure, if you go for a hotter race like the Habanero 100, you definitely would need some. Like if it was a hotter day, like it was pretty good temperatures for to not drink because it was that
Yeah,
cold and you didn't sweat that much, so
yeah.
it wasn't too bad.
No,
So
and
so, so
just even between the 5K and the half, there was a big difference in the temperature and even the wind. When we did the
yeah,
5K, it was kind of a beautiful day, probably even a little
yeah,
too hot for a long
yeah, yeah.
run.
It was good day for me because I was walking it, but I was like, if you were actually gonna run it, it's probably yeah, it was like probably a little too hot for
Yeah,
running.
definitely.
So what basketball do you have? Is it a Spalding? What
Yeah,
the basketball right there?
it's a Spalding, just rubber basketball. Um, I also didn't account for it to be that cold because all my training was done in October, November, December in Houston, where it's 65, 70, 80 degrees.
Yeah.
That the ball was just like a rock. I mean, figuratively speaking, right? We call it a rock, but it was literally just a
Yeah.
frozen rock bouncing it off the cement for 2.5 hours in 30-degree weather with a wind.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't think about that. And did you have gloves or anything?
No,
No.
because I didn't want to lose the
No.
ball. It would change being
Yeah.
able to navigate the ball.
All right, so that's enough about the basketball. That's very cool. I think that's a very I love that you ran it for your friend and the cause and everything. Uh, but I see that you have other things that you do. You looks like you're a cyclist, triathlete. What else do you do?
Yeah, I've done a couple of sprint triathlons, and I did like I said last July. I did the super sprint triathlon. Really just kind of wanted to crush it and see how I did, and I ended up taking first place in my age group.
Oh wow.
Um, and it was a really rainy day. It was super raining. I actually thought they would cancel, but there was no lightning, so we went through with
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
So I think I'm going to sign up for that again in July for the Cypress Sprint Triathlon.
So you thinking of moving up to like a half Ironman or anything like that? Like Rob, I think
Uh,
he's a triathlon dude too, right?
yeah, we did both that he've done. We've done together. So we did the
Okay.
the one in Katy in 22, and then we did which was in September of 22, and then we did the Cypress one in 24, in
Okay.
July of 24. I don't know. It would take a lot for me to say I'm going to do a half Ironman, but
Hmm.
um, it's just it's a lot to train for.
Yeah.
Um, it's almost like having another full time job, right?
Hundred
Because the
percent.
amount of
Yeah.
training you have to put in for all three sports
Yep.
um, to be good at it and to
Mhm.
be successful at it, it would really take a lot. So I don't know.
You kind of did duathlon doing the half Ironman. I mean the Houston half marathon because it was like basketball and running at the same time.
Yeah, no, it was and like I said, that was very motivational for Geronimo, and it was
Yeah.
fun, and I enjoyed it. So I mean, every race it sucks while you're in it, and it's tough sometimes, and it was cold for everybody, so it's not like it's
Mhm.
cold for me and not everybody else. But I enjoyed it. There was times where I'm running, I'm thinking about Geronimo, and I'm thinking about finishing this, and those types of things, just to do it in his honor. I mean, it doesn't mean anything for him. It doesn't help his situation,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it just means I did it for him, right? He knows I did it for him.
And it
So
brings awareness too. I mean, like if someone sees a guy dribbling a basketball, they're gonna ask you why you're doing it, and you'll get on a small podcast like mine that
yeah,
maybe somebody else will reach, and it can make
no,
a change eventually.
and it's been good. I mean, like I said, I saw you and Rob's deal. Like I said, I've known Rob for years now, and I've encouraged him to be a workout guy. I mean, I remember even when he was in the office saying, "Hey, let's do push-ups together," right? And
Yeah.
doing push-ups together in the office even. So I've been along with him throughout his journey of all of the half marathons and the working out and those types of things. So yeah.
So, have you tried any other you've done CrossFit, and are you looking to do some high rocks in your future?
Again, those are all hobbies that would take a lot of time
Yeah,
to
yeah.
invest in. And I still have some kids that I train. I still have some kids that I work out. I have a gym here at the house, and I
Mhm.
have some kids that we've ran. So during COVID, I mean, I wish I could show it to you, but during COVID, we turned our garage into a gym,
Mhm.
and because all the gyms were closed during COVID,
Yeah, yeah.
and it turned into 2 people, then 4 people, then 6 people, and then during COVID, we had 20 to 25 people come in
Wow.
3 sessions a day to come work out.
Wow.
And so of course, COVID ended the piece of it where things reopened. There was no real plan to keep doing this, except now we have a bigger and better gym, and people still come work out.
Yeah.
Um, so I think there's that piece where I still have a lot of involvement with some kids training and those types of things. I just finished training a kid that was training for the West Point Academy.
Wow.
So
Mhm.
he was trying to get into. If you don't know, I mean, all the kids that want to submit their packet for West Point have to pass kind of a physical exam.
Yeah.
So he was coming and training with me for a while, and he ended up passing his exam to get into West Point, to have his packet submitted. So there's still a lot I do in the fitness world. Actually, today I went to a big basketball kind of training and session, and I possibly might help somebody run like their basketball organization. So anything that would take away from something else. So if I'm even the sprint triathlon that I'm going to do, I'm going to have to train for it.
Yeah.
So taking up any type of high rock, or I know you do ultras. Yeah, I don't know if that's in my horizon or not.
So your home gym, I want to know more about it. So where is it located? Do you have like a outside kind of a warehouse thingy, or is it in your garage, or where is that at?
Yeah, it's a yeah. We have a detachable garage,
Mhm.
um, and we turned it into a full gym. And we have a treadmill, a stairmaster, boxes for box jumps and step ups, a leg
How'd you get all
extension,
the
leg curl
stuff? Because
machine, a
during
bicep
COVID,
tricep machine.
all that stuff was hard to get. How did you get all that stuff, or did you already have it?
Just been acquiring over the years. Yeah, I've been bartering and trading and picking up, and um, we have a lat pull, a leg press,
Yeah.
a cable pulley system. Um, we put an air conditioner in there. We've got 3 fans in there. We've got a big screen TV in there. So it really is a nice gym, especially for a home gym. It really is a nice gym.
Wow, yeah, that's yeah. I wish you were my neighbor back in that time, because yeah, all the gyms are closed. People were trying to get things off of Amazon, and it was like find a squat rack was just about impossible. So that's pretty cool. You were able to do that for your neighborhood. Were you charging a membership or anything, or was it just like
No, we've
you were
never
there just
charged
to?
one penny. And actually, during COVID, I mean, we had people come in 40, 45, 50 minutes away every day to come work out.
Wow.
So, I kind of live in the Katy Cypress area. We have people coming from North Cypress. We have people coming from Sugar Land. We have people coming from Fulshire. And we would all just meet, and we would kind of do like a boot camp.
Wow.
And we'd all just we kind of did it boot camp style, and that just kind of stuck and trended, and we're still doing it now.
So you think that's like something you're going to do in the future, making it bigger and better? Because I feel like you have a little bit of a you love it. You love doing
Yeah,
that,
no, I mean, I do
providing that.
enjoy working out. I mean, I think, I've instilled that in my kids. I think, it's just, I want to live to be as healthy and as best I can be for them
Yeah,
and the grandkids and hopefully the great grandkids. Right.
yeah.
But I think with the gym, I've always just done it for free. So anybody that's ever said, "Hey, can we work out?" I've always said yes. Anybody that
Mm,
said, "Hey, can I join the boot camp?" I've said yes.
wow.
And we've had people that have come once or twice, and we've had people that have now been coming for what's coming up on 5 years. And they come every Saturday and Sunday and come work out when we do the boot camps.
So
So
are these strangers, or there's anybody? There's anybody
we've had
that
all the
flies out?
above. We've had neighbors invite friends. We've had strangers. I've had people that like I've met out at the grocery store. You're like, "Hey, you're that guy with the gym," and I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Can I come work out?" And it's like, "Yeah, sure." You know, so it's just been good. I mean, there's been no negative to it whatsoever. It's all been positive. Um, we've even in that group now. Like I've gone to a couple that's come to work out. I've gone to their wedding.
Wow.
Um, I've gone to a lot of these parents, their kids come and work out too. And I've gone to their events, their football, basketball, track events. So it really is a good group. And so we've just
Okay.
continued to do it.
That's cool. I get a lot of stuff to review here on YouTube. Like they're sending me treadmills and all that too. So something maybe if I'm done with a review, I'll donate it to your gym since I like what you're doing over there.
Yeah. I mean,
Pretty cool.
I know you live a bit of ways, but yeah, you should come see it one day. Come over here and come work out one day. Um,
Do a gym
it's
tour.
yeah, it's good. I mean, we've built it, put it together to be as functional as possible, and it's a good group when we do it.
All right. So what's next for you with an event, or what are you looking to do next?
I know we just finished, so I'm going to go ahead and sign up. The price increases on January 31st, so I've got 4 or 5 days to sign up for next year's. So I'm going to go ahead and sign up for next year's next year's half marathon. I am going to do the Woodlands Sprint Triathlon. I hope it doesn't rain because I really want to like
Test
crush a
yourself.
time. Like I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
have a goal now. Last year I kind of just did it to do it, and I think this year I really want to push to crush the time.
yeah.
Um, and then I don't know. I don't know what else is going to fall in there. I plan to do a couple. I've had a couple other people ask me would I run a 5K with them. I've had a couple of people on Instagram that have asked me to run a 10K with them. Just to kind of run with them, or those types of things. And so if that's the case, then I'm open to do any of those things for sure.
Man, I feel like you'd be a great pacer. Like if like the Woodlands Marathon is always looking for pacers to pace different paces, like from 2:30 marathons or yeah to like 6 hours. So I feel like you'd be a great pacer, and I feel like you would enjoy that too. You ever thought about pacing?
Oh, see, you know what? I wouldn't mind, but then I have to for sure keep up, and I have to for sure follow through. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, like what I've done the last probably 5 years up until this year with the basketball.
Hmm.
I've run the half with somebody new every year, somebody that would have
Hmm.
never ran.
Hmm.
Right. I've run with them.
Right, right, right,
Um,
right, right.
so a few years ago, there's a lady named Diana that she comes to the gym and works out with us. And I said, "Hey, let run the half marathon." And she, by the way, she hates running. Um, and she's like, "There's no way I'm going to run a half marathon." And then, sure enough, we ran the half marathon together, step for step, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And now she's done it twice more. Okay. Um, I have a good friend. I actually helped mentor his son in basketball. His name's Nathan Wynn. He's actually a 3-star recruit with the McDonald's American nominee, going to Sam Houston next year. And I told his dad, "Hey, run the half marathon." And he's like, "Yeah, I only run to the refrigerator and back."
Yeah.
And last year he ran the half marathon, and we ran the half marathon step for step. So up until this year, this would be the first year that I didn't run it with somebody new and really encourage them to run.
Right, right, right.
Right. Now this one was for a different cause with the basketball, but this was the first year that I didn't run it with somebody new.
Yeah, so I feel like you like pacing somebody who's going not necessarily going for a goal, but just encouraging them along the way, right? That's what it seems like you enjoy doing.
Yeah, I mean, it was just it's more
Helping them reach their
motivational
goal.
to me. Yeah, I mean, it's more motivational for you've asked me what do I want to do next, but I would say for me, I don't really have a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need a why, right? I
Yeah,
mean, I'm going to work out on my own. I'm gonna do some running on my own. I'm going to lift on my own. But to sign up for an event, I need to have a why, and that why has always been like this year it was for Geronimo.
yeah,
Last year it was for Yun. The year before that it was for Diana. So it's always been I had ran one, I don't know, gosh, 5-6 years ago with my daughter, and we ran step for step. And then 4 years ago, I ran with my youngest son, right? And so that was his first half. So for whatever I'm going to do next, I need a why, whatever it's going to be. And if I have that why, then I'm pretty locked in.
yeah. For me, my wife, because I was signed up for the Houston Full Marathon, it was to really help people. I wasn't going to be a pacer, but I was going to be the person that picks up the stragglers along the way and helps motivate them to finish their race. Unfortunately, I
Got
broke
it.
my ankle, so I couldn't do that. But that's what I really wanted to do, and I agree with you. Like after so many races and runs, especially if you're not going for a time goal, then you want to be out there, doing something good for somebody else too.
Yeah, because I mean, I could go run 13 miles in my neighborhood
Hmm.
next week or tomorrow or the next day
Yeah,
or whatever. But that's totally different than running it with somebody and watching them cross the finish line and then them telling their, even when I go back to thinking about Diana and her telling me she hated running and she would never do it, and then her finishing, crossing the finish line, getting her medal, and now this past year, I didn't run it with them, but her son that hates running ran it with her. So her running and her finishing now motivated her son to run and finish. And they
yeah,
actually ran the half step for step
that's awesome. So why is it the Houston Marathon that you decide to run every year?
because it's easy and I live here in Houston.
That's it. It's just
That's it.
it's just the
Yeah,
race
there's
to
no
do.
other reason. I actually ran a 10K in Veracruz, Mexico. But this was like back in 2014 or 15.
Yeah,
But other than that, I mean, again, I'm always open to do whatever. I'm sure if you don't, shame on you, but I'm sure you know who David Goggins is.
yeah.
Yeah, he does the 4x4x48.
Yeah.
So
Have you done that?
I did that a couple years ago.
Oh wow.
Um,
How was
every few
that?
hours. It actually midnight of Saturday night going into Sunday sucked.
Uh-huh.
The rest were doable. I wake up early, kind of just biologically. I just wake up, right. So I'm
Yeah,
normally up
yeah,
between 5 and 5:30 every day without an alarm clock. So the waking up at 4 was fine. The going and running at 8 was fine. But after that, the midnight wake up on Saturday between Saturday and Sunday sucks. So I've done that though. The 4x4x48. I think I'm actually gonna do it again this year. So
yeah. So if you guys don't know, 4x4x48 is 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours, right? Man, that's crazy. I've always thought about doing
yep.
it, but then
So it
like
starts at
I
8 p.m. on
I
a
don't think I want
Friday.
to do it.
Well, yeah, you do. Here we go. Here's the reason.
Yeah, that's how I started.
Now you have it. So I think
There's also the other challenge. Have you heard of the Run the Loop challenge over in Houston? It's running the 610 loop.
actually me and my son were talking about that where and it's where you run every hour on the hour, right?
No. This is running the 610 loop on in Houston. It's like it's
Okay.
48 miles. So the only dangerous part of that is running the bridge on 610 that
Okay.
on the west side. So I
Okay.
don't know if I'd ever do that.
No, there's another kind of challenge thing, and it's I don't remember the name of it. What's it called?
The backyard challenge. The backyard challenge. Big
Yeah,
backyard.
yeah. So where you run 4 miles every hour,
Yeah.
and then you run until the last person standing.
Yeah. I just got
Yeah,
to be faster to be able to do that because I don't think I can last too long.
yeah. I mean, at some point, my body's gonna break down a little bit. I mean, I'm a little older, so my body will start to break down a little bit. But no, I mean, I think I'll do the 4x4 by 48 this year. And then not every, but the last couple of years, I've done the Murph
Mhm.
on Memorial Day. The pull-ups, those are always the roughest part of that, with the squats and the push-ups, but the pull-ups is always the roughest part of that. So
Yeah. So you feel, I feel like you're pretty healthy. What's your diet like to keep pretty? I can see you right now. You look pretty, like well built and slim.
I fluctuate a lot of weight because I do keto.
Okay.
So during hurricane, anybody that's from Houston, Hurricane Harvey,
Yeah.
during Harvey, I kind of looked at myself and said, wow, I don't look the way I want to. And, I'm not in my basketball playing shape. So I got on keto and I lost 50 pounds. I lost over a
Wow.
6-month period. So I lost 10 pounds the first month, 10 pounds the second month, 10 pounds the third, 10 pounds the fourth, then 5 and 5. So over 6 months, I lost 50 pounds. And then I've just kind of fluctuated in that now. And so I would do what's called like the dirty keto now, where if I really want to cheat, I'm gonna cheat. But I would say, I've definitely lost some of the weight. No carbs, so that does make it kind of, when you're doing some long runs, you don't really have, you're burning just fat, and you don't have anything else to burn once you kind of burnt that. So you're not having any sugar intake, you don't have any carb intake. So you definitely kind of have to modify that, especially if you're going into long runs. And then I'm an avid cruiser, so I love to cruise. So really, I just
weight in there.
I eat everything. I eat everything on the cruise ship.
Yeah.
So when I'm on the cruise, I eat anything and everything, all the desserts, all the dinners, and then I come back and I kind of jump back into keto. So I guess that's how I kind of fluctuate, if you say.
Okay. I went on a cruise and I was there for a week because my parents, they love cruising. So the only way I can hang out with them is actually go on a cruise with them. And I went and I felt horrible afterwards because you would eat all day and sleep and eat and sleep
Yeah.
and drink some. So I swore I gained like 6 pounds on the cruise alone. So I don't know how my parents
So that's
do
kind
it.
of same thing. Like I'll gain and then I'll come back. I'll jump in keto, and then I'll kind of lose it again, and I'll kind of fluctuate through that up until to the next cruise. I've toyed around, Rob and I have toyed around with, here's all the things I forget about when you ask me what I plan on doing next.
Yeah.
Is I'm going to go on a cruise in April and try to run a half marathon on the cruise ship. So run a half marathon on the track on the cruise ship there.
Yeah, I think I did maybe 4 or 5 miles, and that's that's a lot of circles in that, because it's like 6 loops. And, well, the cruise ship I was on, it was 6 laps for 1 mile, or maybe, I don't know, it was something like that. I think maybe 9 laps for a mile. It was
See,
a
that's
lot.
the hard part is keeping up with your lap count versus, what does your watch or your phone say? They say if you put your watch or your phone or whatever in treadmill mode, that it'll be accurate, but I don't know. So I've toyed around with the idea of doing a half marathon on a cruise, but I think I'll just kind of see how that goes.
And then I want to know about your recovery. How do you recover yourself after a long run or a triathlon workout? What do you do for that? Are you cold plunging? Are you sauning? What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't cold plunge. I don't have the resources to. But I do have a hot tub, so there's definitely hot tub. Definitely want to elevate my legs, and then I think for me, I definitely want to get back to doing something. So even though my legs were sore on Sunday, I still did legs on Monday. So typically Monday is my leg day. So I did legs on, and I just think it helps to break it up. They're going to be sore anyways, but I just helps it. I believe that it helps to not leave that sore prolonged for 3-4 days versus it being sore for 1.5 days. But I'm on a pretty standard Monday through Friday weight routine with some periodic runs sprinkled in there if I'm not training for something. And then if I'm training for like a sprint triathlon or something, I'll definitely build a training plan for that. Just like I did with the basketball, I knew I was going to have to get used to my arms being bogged down. So that's why I ran with the weighted vest. So that's why I did 2 and 4 and 6 and 8 with a 20-pound weighted vest to get used to kind of feeling that extra slug of weight. So, I think I'll put together a plan for whatever I'm going to do next.
All right. So before we get to the final thing, I want to ask you, we have anything else you want to tell people about your fitness journey, or anything else we want to tell?
No, and I think really for me, it's, I've just kind of locked into being, this is who I am. This is just a part of me. I would say I'm not super strict diet, but I when I'm locked in, I'm definitely locked in. I think I've just, this is who I am. I enjoy working out. I enjoy the challenges. I enjoy motivating people. I enjoy seeing their success. Finding out that young man passed his CFA to go to West Point, or to have his application in for West Point, like that was motivating to me. I've had another kid that came all during the boot camps that he's now in the Coast Guard, right? And he wrote a really nice letter saying, I wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for you. So I think those things, and I think it's just a part of who I am now, whether it's basketball or working out or running or training, it's just who I am. And I think it's kind of given me my own identity.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. What you doing with the basketball, that was cool. I love what you do with your gym. They're helping people, and I see like you would make are you a trainer? You said you do training, or do you just do it? You do everything for fun, huh?
Yeah, it's just, I would just say it's kind of a passion and a hobby, and we just do it. I've had football kids come work out. I've had track kids come work out. Like I said, the West Point kid come. I have all kinds of basketball kids that come and work out. And I really welcome it, because I'm all for the kid that, or the man, the woman, the couple that really want to get better, that really want to see improvements. That's the tough thing with anybody, including ourselves, is we're a microwave society, right? We put it in the microwave, it comes out in 3 minutes, we have a bag of popcorn, right? But we don't want to put in the 3 months of work, the 6 months of work, the 8 months of work to get what we want, or the results out of it. And that's the tough part. So when those people that have that, I really enjoy that, because I know what they put into it, right? I know what Diana put into it. I know what Sydney's put into her running. I know what Dalen's put into his running when he did the half marathon. I know what Austin did to get to be able to run a half marathon when he hated running. So, just that, with us being a microwave society, that we want to run once and say, oh, I can run a half marathon. And it's not like that. So I really enjoy those pieces of it.
Yeah. All right. So let's get to the last thing. This is it's called this or that. Basically, you answer this or that. I'll ask you a question, and it's pretty simple. If you want to expound on the things, you let me know.
Sure.
So this one is the first one is this simple. It's hamburgers or pizza. Maybe you eat yours without bread. So probably the burger.
Yeah. So I eat Marco's pizza bowls.
Okay.
It's because it's everything without the crust.
Mm. Interesting. It's melted. It's melted cheese too.
Yes. So it's like, if you go to Marco's Pizza, they're going to give you a bowl, and it's going to have all the topping. It's going to have the sauce and all the meats and the cheeses.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cardboard bowl, but it's good. There's no crust. So yeah, pizza.
Okay. The next one is running or triathlons.
Ooh. Wow. I would say the enjoyment of a triathlon. Well, it's really tough, because I've only done sprint triathlons. So I haven't done a half Ironman. I haven't even done an Olympic triathlon. So I would say it's really hard. I prefer, right now, I could say I prefer the triathlons. But if I got up to like an Ironman, maybe that wouldn't be the same answer. Maybe it would just be the running. But the one thing too, now that you ask that, or you say that, is that having if I'm running and I'm running, it's just me. It's me and my what I've put into it to run. The bike gives such an advantage in a triathlon. Somebody who has a $500 bike, you're not going to be the same as somebody who has a $10,000 bike. And the monetary value that you have built into that sport, it really changes the game. Even in this last triathlon that I did, everybody that passed me, I was counting the number of people that I was passing on my bike and my run. And I was only passed by people that had those $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 bikes.
Yeah.
And I was having to work 6 times as hard to keep up, right,
Yeah.
on my
Yeah.
little mountain bike over here or whatever. So
Yeah, that's true. So they're so light, they're so aero, they're so everything. So I mean,
yeah,
it's hard to, it's like riding Ferrari versus a Honda. It's like there's just no way
it doesn't
you,
matter
you
how
could
hard
keep
you
up.
push that pedal; it's just not going to matter. Yeah. So I like the triathlons, but that part does play a big difference.
Yeah, yeah. What about half marathons or full marathons? Which one's your favorite?
Half marathon. I can
What is
really
that?
push to get a certain time. You know, when I did the full, it was really just about finishing. I wanted to bucket list it. I did a full finish. For the half, I can really train to push to accomplish a time. And it also goes back to, I think, what I was saying, like my enjoyment is pushing somebody else to do it. It's really hard to talk somebody into doing a full. It's a lot easier to talk somebody into doing a half.
Yeah.
So I think that for the half for sure.
And this one is a basketball or a football?
Basketball. I'm a basketball junkie. I did play football growing up, but I'm a basketball junkie. So basketball all day.
So who is your favorite player? You did mention Magic Johnson. So you about the pizzazz and the passing and all that?
I just was very impressed by his size and his stature to play the position that he did. Right.
Yeah.
We
What
look
is
at
he?
guys
He
that
was
are
six. He was 6'9".
6'9" point guard. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then I would just say, you know, I'm a good friends with a former NBA player. His name is Rashard Lewis. We grew up together. So I would just say I'm a basketball junkie. And again, that's kind of why I don't have a team, because I really followed wherever he was at. So when he was with the Sonics, I was green and loved the Sonics. When he was in Orlando, I was blue and loved Orlando. You know, even when he was with the Wizards and they were not very good at all, I was still cheering for the Wizards. So
wasn't he from Port Arthur? He's from like the Beaumont area.
Yeah, originally the family's originally from Louisiana and Port Arthur, but he grew up here in Houston.
Okay, yeah. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was riding over here. There's like a road near the water, and I saw this big guy. He's running, and it was Kendrick Perkins. He was just running over here. I was like, "What the heck?" Kendrick Perkins, just nobody around him. He's just running. It's very, before he was in the ESPN, and now he's a big announcer.
Yeah, but that's funny because you're saying that an NBA guy is out working out running, and I can't get kids to work out and run, right? You know, so that's ironic that you said that.
So who's your favorite player in the NBA right now?
Gosh, that's so hard.
There's so many new. I don't follow too much. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am a LeBron fan. I just think for what he did, what he's done with the sport, you know, I've always been somebody that's played really hard. So I maybe wasn't as gifted athletically or as good as some of the others, but I always just played really hard. And that's what allowed me to play so long. And even at the level that I did playing professionally overseas, was just because I played hard and I played the right way. So I really have always liked Russell Westbrook, just because he brings it every night. You know, what Jokic has done to be, again, that not athletic, doesn't look the part, but to be able to do what he does on the court is just, the people don't understand the amount of skill that he has to do what he does. The IQ and the skill that he has is second to none. So those are some of the guys, but I really just enjoy the basketball game. I love college basketball. I go watch a lot of high school basketball. So really anything that has to do with basketball, I'm in.
All right. So the last question is going to be a PR for yourself or helping somebody else get their first half marathon.
I think you already know the answer. It would be helping somebody else 100%. You know, I don't have anybody that I need to impress. I don't need to impress myself. I don't need to, you know, so having a PR for me would just mean I have a PR, and then, but you can always get a new PR. You can always, you know, kind of find one step up or do one better or whatever. I think for me, 100% is encouraging somebody else to do something that they never thought they would ever do. Right. Awesome. I mean, most of these people, you know, again, you know, Yun and Diana and Austin and Dalen and Sydney, I mean, and Dynasty. I mean, these are all people that I've run with that never thought they would ever do a half marathon, and yet they have. So, you know, I think for me, it's 100% that.
Wow. So, man, that's awesome. I love the way that you inspire people to push themselves to do that. And thanks for being on the podcast. I'm glad to show people that you're more than just the guy running, with a basketball, and to know the story behind that is what I love to
No,
share,
I
man. I love
appreciate it.
sharing
Yeah.
stories.
I watched you and Rob's podcast, and I think I started following you on Instagram and whatever else. And then, I've seen, you've done lots of runs, lots of marathons, the ultras and those types of things. And, you're battling through injury yourself, but you're going to continue to push, so even for you, I mean, it's been inspirational for me. And, like I said, I talk to Rob every day or every other day. So it's been good. I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. All right, man. Thanks for being on the podcast. I appreciate you, Dane.
Thank you.
Always good to find out more about the guy that dribbles a basketball on the race course that's passing me. And Dane, he was such a great guest. Make sure to follow him on Instagram at your.traveling.hrguy on Instagram. Dane was such a great guest. I really appreciate him being on the podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, do all those fun things so that this podcast can be seen and heard by many more people. And also, every Monday, look out for the latest Goku Talks podcast on Spotify and on YouTube. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.